Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Then open them slowly. The world you see, these words, your hands, the space around you, appears solid and real. But is it? What if everything you perceive is merely an elaborate construction of your mind? Consider this simple truth: you have never directly experienced the external world. Not once. Every sight, sound, and sensation you've ever known has been filtered through your nervous system, translated into electrical impulses, and reconstructed by your brain into what you call reality. Your visual field right now seems complete and detailed. But look closer. Your eyes actually only see a small fraction in high resolution, about the size of your thumbnail at arm's length. The rest is filled in by your brain based on expectations and memories. The colors you see? They don't exist in the outside world. Color is your brain's interpretation of different light wavelengths. This raises profound questions. If our perception is this constructed, this interpretive, can we ever truly know objective reality? The great philosophers have grappled with this for millennia. Descartes famously doubted everything except his own existence. Plato described our condition as prisoners in a cave, mistaking shadows for substance. Eastern traditions like Advaita Vedanta teach that the material world is an illusion, Brahman's divine play. Modern neuroscience confirms how malleable our perception is. In laboratory experiments, scientists have created body transfer illusions where people genuinely believe a rubber hand is their own. Patients with certain brain injuries lose the ability to recognize faces, even their own reflection becomes a stranger. What does this say about the solidity of our self-perception? Dreams offer perhaps the most compelling evidence of reality's fragility. In dreams, you experience complete worlds with their own physics, histories, and emotional stakes. Only upon waking do you recognize them as fiction. But here's the unsettling question: how can you be certain you're not dreaming right now? The phenomenon of lucid dreaming takes this further. In a lucid dream, you become aware you're dreaming while still in the dream. Some practitioners learn to control their dream environments completely. If consciousness can create and manipulate such convincing realities during sleep, what does that imply about waking reality? Quantum physics adds another layer of mystery. At subatomic levels, particles exist in superpositions, multiple states simultaneously, until observed. The very act of measurement collapses these possibilities into a single outcome. Some interpretations suggest reality doesn't exist in a definite state until consciousness interacts with it. Are we, through perception, participating in the creation of reality itself? Consider time, another fundamental aspect of your experience. Time feels constant and linear, but this too is a construction. Your brain processes different sensory inputs at different speeds, then synchronizes them into a coherent timeline. In altered states, during trauma, meditation, or psychedelic experiences, time can stretch, compress, or seem to disappear entirely. Dissociation shows us how fluid our connection to reality can be. In moments of extreme stress, some people report watching themselves from outside their bodies. Others describe the world taking on a dreamlike quality, as if they're moving through a film set. These aren't necessarily pathological states, they reveal the mind's capacity to step back from its own creations. Psychedelic experiences push this even further. Under substances like psilocybin or DMT, people report complete dissolution of their sense of self, merging with the universe, or perceiving higher dimensions. While these experiences are chemically induced, they demonstrate that our ordinary perception is just one possible configuration of consciousness. Even our memories, which form the foundation of our personal identity, are unreliable. Each time you recall an event, you're not accessing an original recording, but rather your last memory of it. Like a game of telephone, our memories become increasingly distorted with each recollection. So where does this leave us? If our senses construct reality, if our memories are fluid, if even time and space prove malleable, what can we truly say is real? Perhaps the answer isn't to cling more tightly to our illusions, but to loosen our grip. To embrace the mystery. This isn't about rejecting reality, but seeing it more clearly, recognizing it as a dynamic interplay between consciousness and the unknown. When we detach from our assumptions about what's real, we open ourselves to profound possibilities. The world becomes more mysterious, more fluid, and ultimately, more alive. The journey begins with a simple question: what if reality isn't what you think it is? Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, your fingers gripping tightly to the rocks behind you. The wind pulls at your clothes, urging you forward, but fear keeps you anchored. This is what it means to cling to reality, to hold on desperately to what you know, even when the unknown calls to you. Letting go is not about losing yourself. It's about releasing the mental constructs that keep you trapped in a limited experience of existence. The first step is understanding that your thoughts are not you. They are like clouds passing through the sky of your awareness, temporary, ever-changing, and not fundamentally real. Consider how you experience emotions. When anger arises, it feels all-consuming. But if you observe it without judgment, you'll notice something remarkable: the anger isn't solid. It shifts, transforms, and eventually dissipates. This is true of all mental phenomena. By watching your thoughts instead of becoming them, you begin to loosen their grip on your perception. Meditation offers a powerful tool for this detachment. When you sit in stillness, focusing on your breath, you're practicing the art of non-attachment. Thoughts will come, about your day, your worries, your desires, but instead of following them, you simply notice them and return to the breath. In this simple act, you're training your mind to stop identifying with every passing thought. But detachment goes beyond formal practice. It's about bringing this awareness into daily life. When you're stuck in traffic, notice how frustration arises. Instead of becoming the frustration, observe it. See how your body reacts, how your mind creates stories about why this is happening to you. Then, take a deep breath and let it all go. The ego fights this process. It wants to maintain the illusion of control, the story of a separate, permanent self. But when you look closely, can you actually find this self? Is there a thinker behind your thoughts, or are thoughts simply appearing in awareness? The more you investigate, the more the solid sense of self begins to dissolve. This doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. True detachment brings greater engagement with life, not less. When you're not caught in mental stories about how things should be, you can respond to what actually is. Decisions become clearer when they're not clouded by fear or desire. Relationships deepen when you're fully present with others. Nature teaches us this wisdom effortlessly. Watch how a tree doesn't resist the changing seasons. It doesn't cling to its leaves in autumn or fight against new growth in spring. The tree simply is, completely present in each moment, perfectly attuned to the flow of existence. We can learn from this natural intelligence. As you practice letting go, you may encounter resistance. The mind will protest, fearing the loss of its familiar reference points. This is normal. Meet this resistance with compassion, but don't let it stop your exploration. Remember, you're not losing anything real. You're shedding illusions to discover what's always been here. The paradox is this: the more you let go of trying to control your experience, the more you find yourself at home in the universe. The tighter you cling to fixed ideas of reality, the more you suffer. Freedom lies not in accumulation, but in release. Ask yourself today, what mental constructs am I ready to release? What beliefs about myself and the world no longer serve me? The path to true freedom begins with these questions. The most persistent illusion of all is the one you've never questioned, the belief that you are separate. Separate from others. Separate from the world around you. Separate from existence itself. This sense of division is the root of all loneliness, all conflict, all suffering. But what if it's simply not true? Let's examine this carefully. Where exactly does you end and the world begin? Is it at your skin? Your breath moves continuously between your body and the atmosphere. The food you eat becomes your cells. The light entering your eyes is literally electromagnetic radiation from distant stars now interacting with your nervous system. The boundaries are far more porous than we imagine. Modern physics reveals a universe where separation is an illusion. At quantum levels, particles that have interacted remain mysteriously connected regardless of distance, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. The vacuum of space isn't empty but teeming with potential, a quantum foam where particles blink in and out of existence. We're not in the universe, we are the universe becoming aware of itself. Eastern philosophies have understood this for millennia. The Hindu concept of Advaita means non-duality, not two. The Buddhist teaching of interbeing shows how all phenomena arise together in mutual dependence. A flower cannot exist without the sun, the soil, the rain, the gardener. Nor can you. But how does this feel experientially? Close your eyes and feel your body. The sensations you call your body are actually patterns of energy and information being interpreted by your brain. The air touching your skin isn't separate from you, it's in continuous exchange with your respiratory system. The sounds you hear are vibrations moving through the same air that fills your lungs. This realization often comes in moments of profound connection. When gazing at the ocean, during deep meditation, or in the presence of great art. Time seems to pause. The mental chatter fades. There's just this, pure experiencing without a separate experiencer. These glimpses reveal our fundamental nature before the mind divides reality into subject and object. The implications are radical. If there's no real separation, then compassion isn't something we extend to others, it's simply recognizing our shared being. Environmental concern isn't about saving the planet, it's about caring for our larger body. Even our personal struggles take on new meaning when seen as movements within a greater whole. This doesn't negate individual experience. The dance of separation and unity continues. But when we see through the illusion of absolute division, life becomes more fluid, more forgiving. We still play our roles, parent, worker, friend, but without the desperate clinging to these temporary identities. Practice this today. Look at a stranger and recognize they are made of the same stardust as you. Feel the wind and know it's the planet breathing. Taste your food and sense the sunlight, rain, and earth it contains. In these simple acts, the walls between self and world grow thin. What remains when the illusion of separation fades? Only this, boundless, luminous awareness in which all things arise and dissolve. You were never apart from it. You are it. We arrive now at the threshold of the unknowable. All our searching, our questioning, our attempts to understand reality have led us here, to the breathtaking realization that the ultimate nature of existence may forever remain beyond comprehension. And this is not a failure of understanding, but its highest achievement. Consider the most fundamental questions. Why is there something rather than nothing? What is consciousness? Where does the universe come from? Science gives us partial answers, but each discovery reveals deeper mysteries. The more we learn about quantum physics, cosmology, or neuroscience, the more we encounter the limits of human understanding. This is not cause for despair, but for wonder. The unknown is not empty, it is infinitely fertile ground. Every great discovery in science, every profound spiritual realization, has emerged from this fertile void. When we stop pretending we have all the answers, we become truly open to reality as it is, mysterious, unpredictable, and alive with possibility. Look at how children approach the world. They don't need explanations to experience wonder. A falling leaf, a puddle, the night sky, everything is magical because everything is new. As we grow older, we trade this wonder for certainty. We learn names for things and mistake the label for the reality it points to. But the mystery never went away. We simply stopped paying attention. Quantum physics shows us that at fundamental levels, reality behaves in ways that defy common sense. Particles can be in two places at once. The act of observation changes what's being observed. Space and time themselves may be emergent properties rather than fundamental realities. The universe is far stranger than we ever imagined. Ancient wisdom traditions understood this. The Tao Te Ching begins, the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Zen masters speak of Do-No mind as the highest understanding. Christian mystics wrote of the cloud of unknowing. True wisdom has always recognized the limits of conceptual knowledge. In your own life, you can cultivate this relationship with the unknown. Start by noticing when you're clinging to certainty. When you feel anxious about the future or regretful about the past, you're trying to make life more predictable than it is. Practice instead saying, "I don't know." See how it feels to rest in that openness. Creativity flourishes in this space of not knowing. Artists, scientists, and innovators all describe their best work coming from beyond their conscious understanding. When we stop trying to control every outcome, we become available to inspiration that comes from somewhere deeper. This doesn't mean abandoning reason or critical thinking. It means recognizing that reason has limits. Like a flashlight in a vast cave, it illuminates parts of reality while leaving most in darkness. We need the light, but we must remember how much lies beyond it. The greatest gift of embracing mystery is that it returns us to the present moment. When we stop trying to figure everything out, we can simply be here, alive in this breath, this sensation, this ever-changing now. The present is the only place where reality actually exists. The past and future are just thoughts appearing now. So we come full circle. We began by questioning reality, and end by resting in the question itself. Not as a problem to be solved, but as an opening into direct experience. The mystery isn't out there somewhere, it's what you are at your deepest level. You are the universe wondering about itself. You are consciousness becoming aware of its own nature. You are the unknown knowing itself as you. When you stop trying to grasp reality, you become it.